you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. The earliest things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of your family, because, you know, we believe in you. We know that if you listen to the Chris Voss Show, you're going to be smarter, better, and brighter, and you're going to contribute to the world much better. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may buy advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book's success. Today, we have an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his book called Basecamp, The Complete Guide to Mentoring, out November 29th, 2024 by Martin Kidd. We're going to get into some of the details, some of the stories, and how he can help you live a better life, and some of the advice that he's going to give to us there. He is a father, grandfather, and husband. He's a physiotherapist with 40 years of experience supporting others through various stages of life and career path. He's an actor and a singer, a writer and producer, and a colleague and traveler. He and his wife, Andrea, reside in the deep south of New Zealand, having lived and worked across the country of Australia, UK, and USA. Welcome to the show, Martin. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thanks for coming as well. We certainly appreciate it. Give us your .coms. Where on the internet do you want people to find you out?
Well, we need for you to access the book on Amazon, on Ex Libris, and Barnes & Noble. Those are our websites. And at this point, I'm developing a website which is not up and running yet. That will be something that will be available at some stage soon.
Cool. Do you know the website .com URL yet?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. All right. So we'll watch for that. We'll have a link for it on the Chris Voss Show if you want to update in the future. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's in your new book, Basecamp, The Complete Guide to Mentoring?
It's around the whole perspective of relationships. And so mentoring is providing support for people in a non-judgmental, compassionate, protected, confidential way. Mm-hmm. And we have to do that through our life. All the way from when we're kids, we are mentored, and we actually provide mentoring for people all the way through our lives. I'm still being mentored by other people. And it's really understanding and unpacking what those relationships look like. Now, the basis of that is understanding yourself. So if you know who you are, where you're from, what's your background, where do your values hang, then you're going to be much better at making a reasonable go at supporting somebody else. Because if you understand yourself, you're more likely to understand where they're coming from. And it's the face in the mirror. One of the chapters is called The Face in the Mirror. So that's the very first thing we have to do in understanding ourselves as mentors is, who are we? Where do we come from? I come from New Zealand, which is a colonial country. I guess the US is colonial as well when you think about it. Ours is a little more recent. And, you know, where have my people come from? What do they bring to my background to help me understand why I really like routine, why I love to hang out in the garden, why do I love my family, where does my faith come from? Why do I have a good sense of what's right and what's wrong? Now, all of those are intrinsic to you because of what's come before you. Understand that, and then you can start building your relationship with those around you who you have to support.
Yeah. So, what was the reason you wrote the book? What was the motivation behind it?
I've seen mentoring done really badly, Chris. And I guess I think it's incumbent on us to share our experiences as we get a little older. And I certainly had a lot that I wanted to share so that those who choose to be mentors have a framework upon which they can base their relationship with the person that they're mentoring, not badly, put it that way. It's certainly been a long journey for me. I've had hundreds of physiotherapy students, lots of early career colleagues. It sharpened and focused my ideas about mentoring, believe it or not, when I became a grandfather, because my daughter and son-in-law, as first-time parents, needed a lot more support, I think, than what we had anticipated might be. And what does that look like? And I don't know if you're a grandfather, Chris, but
no.
You've got to do that sort of thing non-judgmentally too, don't you? That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, kids got to have a little bit of room to bounce around and learn stuff with.
They sure do,
all that good stuff. So tell us about yourself. How did you grow up? What were some of the influences you had, and what got you into these fields?
I've grown up throughout New Zealand. My father was a priest, an Anglican or Episcopalian priest, and so 3 or 4 years we upped stakes and moved on to another parish, if you like. He then moved into a more permanent role in the hospital as a chaplain. And so we were able to put down roots through my high school and university years, living up in the main city, the biggest city in New Zealand, Auckland. I then went off to physiotherapy school, and we travelled pretty much straight away. So my wife and I had children young and took our toddlers with us to the UK. We then went and lived in Michigan for a year. Mm-hmm. Had a wonderful time there up in the northern Midwest, and then came back home to New Zealand, where I've worked for myself in the private setting. In other words, self-employed. I've worked in a hospital setting, worked at the university as an academic, and so I've got a broad-reaching remit, I guess, to provide a little bit of advice around all of those contexts of life, let alone, having 3 children and 2 grandchildren at the moment.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, so we've moved a lot. We've had to make a lot of adjustments and look at what support systems needed to be put in place for us to survive. For example, when we were in the UK, we lived with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. We lived in 6 different places in the space of 12 months. So we just kind of took them with us. And as long as they had crayons and a bit of paper, they were sweet. It's really drawing on those experiences, I guess, Chris, to be able to say, okay, I've got a broad range of experience of life in different countries, in different contexts of living, in different contexts of working, and trying to think to myself, well, how can I share that with other people? Because I think, as I said, as experienced humans, I think it is incumbent on us to share our experiences with others.
Definitely. And so you have inside the book the complete guide to how to do it, how to mentor people, how to get them. Thanks to our audience for tuning in. Order of the book where refined books are sold. It is called Basecamp, The Complete Guide to Mentoring, out November 29th, 2024 by Martin Kidd. Thanks to our audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss, one the TikTok, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.